Hello YouTube and welcome to GrunfWorks Plays Naval Action. And today I will be showing you off a duel. A duel between me and my cousin. You have seen me play a couple of missions together with my cousin, but we figured it might be fun to basically do some PvP action and basically do a duel, a face-off between him and me. And for the ship of choice we have both chosen Belle Poules. And those are green Belle Poules, meaning a single upgrade. I think it's fine or common. I think it's common Belle Poules. We'd each could have a choice of 2 upgrades or 3 upgrades, 1 permanent and two regular upgrades. So each of us had a possibility to choose their own armament. I have chosen both on the weather deck and on the cannon deck to use 32-pounder carronades, and also to use carronades, I believe, for the bow, or no, sorry, for the stern chasers. I am switching to chain in the back just to basically be a little bit kicking off Davor sails, and I will be trying to play against him in a manner to basically go straight for him and then hopefully rake him from point blank range, and then try to keep upwind from him to make him heal. Well, basically, so that when his ship heals, that I basically ensure that I'm creating leaks as much as possible. Also, I will try to keep as close to him as possible and, still do some damage. So, I'm just testing to see if I will make any damage from this distance, and I'm basically trying one at a time. And then followed by a broadside. Most of them will bounce, I realize, because I'm trying just to determine at what range will my shots really penetrate his armor. So, because I haven't been sailing that much on Belle Poule, so he chose to basically run with the wind, which puts me in the favorable position because I command the weather gauge, which is, at the time of the Age of Sail, was a huge advantage. So, and I fully intend to leverage on that advantage and basically just press onwards. So, turning towards him, and since I'm playing against a player this time, it will be a little bit, I guess, I hope more interesting for you guys, because it's one thing to fight an NPC. They're decent, but they're nearly not good as players. And I made sure to basically teach him a little bit in terms of gameplay, how to play, how to sail, etc. Despite him being rather new to the game, but he actually picked up and learned quite a lot quite quickly, so I do expect this fight to be a pretty tough one, so we'll see how it goes. Especially since we are on equal footing. Having said that, one remark that I do have on this game is that we really had to have both the same ships, because the game said you couldn't have same battle rating. And I didn't like that, because I would have liked a little bit more asymmetric, that as long as we are within the same class, let's say battle rating plus minus, I don't know, 20, 30, that we could choose whatever, because I was trying to get like frigate versus Belle Poule, which I thought would be a fun and interesting engagement to show you from both him and mine perspective, but I guess maybe that's something to put as suggestions for the developers. Okay, moving on back to the fight. So far, it's not a lot fighting, but it's more of him running and me chasing. But I am hoping to remedy that, and I am going straight for him, and I am going around 135 degrees on the weather gauge, which usually is the best point of sail for all square riggers. So I hope to get maximum speed here. And I've also disabled gunnery to have completely manned sails, just to get as much speed as possible. He is turning towards me, which puts him against the weather, or against the wind, which will go in my favor. So I am thinking that I want to turn hard to port and actually rake his bow a little bit. I'm putting unlock sector focus to 100 meters, waiting until my narrow focus narrows, and then I will be hitting him as low as possible. Hull times 5, sails times 2. I was hoping to actually create some leaks here, but I guess we'll have to live with that. Okay, never mind. Let's see how we can keep him from hitting my sails. So, okay, I think I'm gonna be turning hard to port, but not too hard to port, or to starboard, but not too hard to starboard, because I want to be still in a position that I keep my shooting solution towards him while still trying to remain out of his arc of fire. So remember, the more times I put hurt on him and the less time he puts hurt on me, I'm winning. So hull times 2, this is a clear example of a missed opportunity. I think the place where I messed up is that I was using the sector focus. So I'm now turning my back to him and trying to keep at an angle which makes me a very small target, and as you can see, since he fired a broadside, he missed completely, which went very well in my favor because I think only one of his cannonballs hit. And that's the plan that I will try to keep throughout the battle. When I see him ready to fire, try to basically present as small target as possible. Coming about, and I am thinking to reduce my sails a little bit. And he is turning. That means that I want to be turning as well into the wind. Oh, and this will put him in a favorable position as well. Well, no matter, I better prepare for my cannons. Make sure that I have enough time that my focus narrows, and fire. Some of them bouncing, but still 5 hits to the hull. At least we have started to proceed with our engagement. So at least that's the point anyway, to force him in the battle on my own terms. And that's exactly what I'm trying to force him. So as you can see, now I'm still keeping the wind gauge, and he will be firing, but I am once again a small target to him. And I'm also making sure that when I fire, that if he's a small target, that he's very close to me. And now I'm leveling off because he is healing a bit, and I'm healing a little bit too. Well, depowering sails to level off, and he will put a little bit hurt on me, but I will try to stern rake him once again. This time with the locked sector. Fire! Ooh, this was actually some good hits. 7 hits to the hull, 1 to the crew. Perfect. And then and he is once again against the wind. Okay, let's see. I actually might consider maintaining this shooting solution. No, I will actually turn in towards him. I've gotten one leak. This was not clearly the best position to be in because I'm now healing a little bit. So I'm going actually against my own advice, but still I needed to turn. And as you can see, his stern armor is completely busted, which was the idea on how to approach it. And now I'm getting ready. Fire. At this point blank range, I will still try to shoot him in the hull as much as possible. 7 hits to the hull, and now I have made a critical mistake, and that's basically pulling myself into the wind. So I basically opened up a position where he could actually now stern rake me from point blank range. So this was clearly stupid on my part. Well played, Davor. At this point. Now, it only matters if he presses the advantage, which he didn't. So, which means that once again I will be able to turn my starboard side to him and then go about. He is shortening sail, so he is getting ready to fire. I'll make sure to keep not to level off completely, and now after he has fired, get ready and fire. Ooh. 16 or 15 to the hull and 6 leaks. Well, that will give him something to think about. So this was the idea. This is how I wanted to play it, basically to put a lot of leaks in him and keep his survival crews busy. Because the more his survival crews busy, the less time he has to refill cannons and man the sails, which also makes his ship less maneuverable and giving me more time to actually focus on firing the guns. So that was whole reasoning why I wanted to basically create as many leaks as possible on him. Because from the get-go, even if you create leaks, you won't sink the guy. So he is, as you can see, he is having some leakage problems, but I'm pretty sure his survival crews will fix that. Pressing on my advantage, making sure that my focus narrows enough, and fire. Hulls times 6, sails times 3. Okay, so that once again put me in a tricky situation. Fortunately, we are both fighting with the wind, and we have the same ship, so both of them we're basically on equal footing here. So I guess it's just a matter of how you play it, which I can understand. You don't have any inherent ship advantages, so it is a matter of skill, and that's something that I really like about naval action. Now, with the introduction of patch 1.9.9, they have added also the officers, and I really hope that their influence will still be marginal, because this should ultimately be a game of skill, not the game of the best upgrade available like World of Tanks. So I'm really hoping that the devs maintain the skill-based focus. Ow! Okay, he is firing. I'm trying to reduce my angle, and he's done, which means I'm turning hard to port, or hard to starboard, and it's time that I fire something. But from this range, I'm not exactly convinced this would be the best course of action, but still, let's fire. Fire! Oh, and we have another nice set of leaks. Well, hey Davor, how do you like the leakage? Let me know. If you like the water, I can make some more holes. Yeah, well, you know, the healing stuff is still something that's... I have taught him that, but I'm not sure if he remembers it. So, because he is showing me his heals constantly. And by heals I don't mean the stern, but I mean the ship heals towards me, which is kind of cool. Okay, and he is getting ready to fire. I am reducing my footprint, and I will also turn towards his stern, so while he is firing, I'm pressing as hard as I can on my rudder, basically, which forces him to miss. Now from this distance I don't believe that I will be able to do much against him, so I'm thinking of maybe even hitting his sails. Well, doesn't matter the fact that I'm using balls, but I don't know, ball ammunition versus sails, that could also work, but then again I figured why the hell not come much closer and then do some havoc. So I have chosen not to fire just yet, but rather decrease the distance, because I see him also turning to the starboard side towards me, and he is hoping to put another broadside. From this range I'm not overly concerned, but I really want, when I fire, that it actually matters quite a lot. So I am now going a little bit against the wind, and I'm preparing my carronades for a broadside. And fire. Fire, damn you. Okay. Well, 16 to the hull. So far, as you can see, the Duel is more or less on equal footing, so now I'm putting my manual sails hard to starboard and trying to correct my heading. Wind is clearly not the best ally, and he is coming on my 6 or on my stern, but I'm trying hard to turn my starboard side against him and still try and keep a shallow angle, but he managed to press this advantage this time. Okay, well played this time. And he has completely stopped, which makes him an ideal target for a broadside. Fire. Little lower and fire. So 15 to the hull, and I believe I have leveled both of his port and starboard sides health points, so now it does no longer matter to which side I hit him, and I still have more HP on both sides, so it gives me a little bit of an advantage, but I want to turn hard and actually use the battle sails for increased or shorter turning radius. The fact that I'm constantly trying to use is Belle Poule's angled hull to get as many bounces as possible, because Belle Poule, like the Renommee, has angled hull, which means that some cannonballs will bounce off of her. Okay, now setting my sails to full speed ahead, and I am once again trying to keep a low angle at Davor. I will be correcting myself when I come a little bit closer, and by that time my carronades are completely ready, and I'm preparing for a 90-degree focus angle and just depowering sails, and easy does it. Fire. $13 to the hull. Well, this time I have picked up some leaks as well, so well played, Davor. And at this point I'm thinking that I want to turn this time hard to port, so that I will be taking him on with my stronger side, but then again I see him turning to starboard to come behind me, which is a position that I would like to avoid. So I reconsider my order and just go into the wind, because I know that's his weak point. So the point is that I have also turned off my gunnery to make sure that most guys are working on the repair, so my hit points get repaired to the best of the ability. And then I turn back on the gunnery because I want my cannons to reload in time, because I see him chasing. So this time I am preparing for a full-on broadside, and he is coming. So I will not waste a shot until I get a good angle. I'm using locked sector focus and fire. Oh boy. 18 to the hull and 8 leaks. Well, see how that feels. I have fixed my leaks, and I have fixed most of my hull, so my hull is back intact on the port side and sort of midway on the starboard side. So drawing a little bit away, still using the repair people that I have and using the chain to weaken his sails a little bit while my cannons reload. I mean, I still have crew on the gunnery, but not that many, which means my reloads will be much slower. Given the fact that I'm planning to use my port side cannons, which are fully loaded, that's a risk I'm willing to take. Okay, now the night has come and it is quite harder to see actually. So I am trying to keep an eye on him, and it seems that he is trying to come either towards me or away from me. I cannot exactly tell. I think he's going away from me. Yeah, so I am turning hard to port, and basically I will be chasing him because my repairs are done, meaning that I can once again return to the engagement. I typically try to repair somewhere midway because if you start repairing towards the end, then you have also survival crews working, and then it's like really hairy. So ultimately you want to pop up a repair kit when you have no leaks and when you're like halfway around the armor to just get as much possible repair. And both of us had, I believe, the survival handbooks green, so which makes the repairs last longer and do more actually. So as you can see, he is starting to fire, but once again I am turning my bow towards him, presenting a smaller target, meaning his cannons won't be able to reload for a short while, which I'm trying to use to close the gap and hopefully fire a broadside before he manages to return it. Also guys, if you really want to leverage the opportunities, you need to roughly know how long time does it take for your opponent's cannons to reload, and then press your advantage. For example, he is now turning hard to port so that he presents another set of cannons, which I will happily oblige, but I will once again try to bow rake him and fire. So 15 hull and 5 leaks. Awesome. As you can see, I'm constantly aiming for his waterline. Like I said, the idea is to make leaks, to keep his survival crews occupied. Slowly but surely this will make him sink. Maybe not just yet, because we are roughly the same in terms of armor, but now he has gone into the wind a little bit, which once again puts me in a good position to come behind and once again do some damage on him. I'm trying to go dead slow because I really want to bombard his stern with a heavy hail of cannonballs. Fire! I'm also trying to aim at his rudder, see if I could cripple that, but at this time I couldn't, sadly. I was really trying to aim for his rudder because I think that would cripple him a great deal. Now I'm switching back to 250 meter focus because he is a little bit further away and the spread is still good. I'm trying to figure out if I will be able to hold long enough at his stern to be able to fire another broadside, which I think would be good, but I don't think so, honestly. And maybe I will. Fire! Well, some to the sail, some to the crew. Now with the new crew mechanics, this would basically win me an economic victory because I'm killing off his crew and he would basically need to pay for the repairs. I mean, 500 gold per person, that's quite a steep price if you're in these kind of engagements. Okay, now I'm in trouble because I'm I have not paid attention to the wind gauge, but it doesn't really matter because he's too far out, so I don't have to care. I'm once again switching to ball ammunition, and he is firing, but whatever he fires from this range I shouldn't be too worried about. Basically he's just wasting his broadside. If he wanted to do the most damage from this range, the only thing that he could do with carronades is maybe shoot for my sails and hope to actually cripple my sails, because that would be the only thing that he would be able to actually do damage against from this range. Okay, and he is making a mistake of presenting, first of all, being downwind from me, healing once again, and trying to go with his starboard side towards me, which I think it's a huge mistake on his part. He is trying to correct it, but I don't think he will have enough time to turn, or maybe he will. Actually, he will. But I fully intend to press my advantage and rake him from this distance. Fire! Hull 2, sails, leak 1. Well, I was hoping for a significantly better result, but what can you do? And I am turning hard to port, just to make sure that I keep away out of his shooting solution, while my cannons reload, and then maybe once again turn to present him with my port side, which is way more armored anyway. And he is once again turning his weak side to me, which puts me in a very good position. So, oh come on, yeah, these guys. I want to use these guys against him, and as you can see, I'm trying very hard to turn, but then I realized my sails were wrong, so I clearly didn't press my advantage here, which I should have. Now I've corrected, but it's already too late. I am going out of his out of the range, which puts my carronades at much weaker place, but once again fire and hope at least that we put some hurt on him. 13 to the hull. Could have been significantly more if I had paid more attention to my sails. That's kind of a thing to keep in mind, guys. Always keep track of your sails. Otherwise, you might find yourself in more precarious situations than you would like to admit. Okay. Once again, turning to port. Overall, I'm thinking that this fight is pretty evenly matched. As you can see, I am in a slightly better position than him. But then again, he has been holed many times, and now I'm switching to chain ammunition, which I'm hoping will give me a little bit of edge in terms of maneuverability. So the plan is come to him and bow rake him, hopefully hitting his sails. So I'm going straight for him. This time he is running with the wind, so he is faster. But I'm trying to overtake him, and knowing him, he will want to, after he fires a broadside at this angle, he will want to come towards me. So, but then again, he is presenting me so nicely with his sails that I can hardly resist. And fire. .22 at his sails, which puts them at 90%. Awesome. Hopefully this should make him a little bit slower and give me some competitive edge. I'm once again hard turning to starboard to present him with my, well, weaker side obviously. But then again, he is also using his weaker side, which means that fire. Fire. So yes, I am using the unlocked sector focus to more focus on a specific area of a ship, And here I was actually trying to turn to starboard, but clearly I wouldn't be able to, so I'm once again turning to port because he will rake me this time. Well played on his part, I must say. I clearly didn't play that one very well. Okay, so turning hard to port, and I hope to unleash another chain volley up his sails. And then I'll probably be switching to the ball ammunition. 250 meter focus, and fire. I saw that he actually repaired his sails, so he popped up a repair kit for the sails and he's still repairing them, so this will probably make him just mad. And that's also a tactic. Keep him off balance. The more mad he is, the more chance I have of winning. Okay, now I have put my sails parallel to the wind to just estimate how much am I healing. So I'm thinking whether I should continue down this path, or should I turn and then go for his stern, which I think I'm gonna do. Hard to port, and then he is once again turning also to port. So once again I think we will be going head to head. Putting sector focus on 250 meters. Sails to full, and once again, oh, I am healing. Fire! Well, this time it hasn't been the best plan, but at least I'll put some hurt on his sails as well. He's once again 99% on his sails, so... Okay. Now, how do I approach this? As long as I go forward, I will go in his arc of fire with my weaker side, but he's weaker on both ends, so I'm thinking that probably I want to keep a little bit on the angle, and now he has fired, which gives me some time to fire myself. And then I realized that I decided to actually go hard to starboard, and rather than wait for my cannons to reload, which they did, to actually use my port side cannons. And I saw him struck down his sails, meaning he is trying to wait until his cannons reload as well, which they almost are, and fire. So I made sure that I fire first, actually. Hull 9. Okay, and so if I calculated correctly, he has just fired, meaning that I still have enough time to turn. But once again, I've put bad positioning on my sails. But okay, so far I'm winning. I don't know how his situation is. I have holed him many times, so I don't know if he's taking on water or not. His HP is still significant, so that's something that we need to keep in mind. Never underestimate your foe, regardless on how weak he may seem. Until you see him sinking, just don't underestimate. So once again, a bunch of cannonballs to the sails. He did tore up my sails a little bit, but still pretty negligible. His sails are at this moment better than mine, but once again I'm not overly concerned, because the more he focuses on my sails, the more I'll focus on his hull. Once again going hard to port, or starboard, sorry. And now I'm trying to head straight for him and hopefully bring this fight to a resolution. I'm always going straight towards him because I want to try and keep him guessing where I will go now. And then I try to do the exact opposite. Oh boy. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a collision. Ow. Ah, come on. Well, while I'm here, I might as well fire my cannons. Hull 7, Crew 2. Why not? $275 crew versus his 239. At this point I might have opted to go for boarding action, but I prefer a clean fight. I'm not really a boarding person, so I don't know. And he clearly used the advantage to manage to get some cannonballs in me and give me actually quite a lot of leaks, so well played. But my cannons are reloading as well, and let me return the favor now, Davor, shall I? Heal a little bit more down, depower, and fire! Fire. And once again we bump into each other. Well, I'm still having a bunch of leaks, so yeah, I'm really not in a good position right now, but my survival crews are spiking. So getting at this position will hopefully give me a much needed breather to be able to actually repair the leaks. That's kind of the idea. Get to a position where he can no longer fire at me. So the leaks have been plugged, and I am hoping that the pumps will drain out the water. And now I am immediately at his stern, which is a location that I really want to exploit at this very moment. So put in the locked sector focus auto and fire. Well, at least 4 to the hull. Should give him something to think about. He actually played this part pretty well, because I wasn't expecting that he would be bumping me, but still he ended up with short end of the stick, although he managed to damage me pretty badly. But fortunately enough, my survival crews are managing to pump the water out, and now, as you can see, he didn't continue to press his advantage, but he chose to run. And I think that was one of his worst mistakes, because if he had continued to put holes in me, I would have probably got sunk. So when you're on the advantage, press it. By all means, don't leave for repairs or try to turn the other side. Stick to your enemy, and if you see that you have created lots of leaks, continue to create lots of leaks, because you might just sink them. So yeah, I think that was the worst mistake that he actually did. Fire. $11 to the hull, and I am thinking now I should be turning and hopefully shooting a bit more on his starboard side. So this is a prolonged engagement, but both of us have similar ideas, similar way of fighting. I'm trying to actually use a little bit of experience and see if I can manage to secure a victory, but I'm not underestimating him, but because so far he has proven a rather tough and worthy combatant, to be honest. He made some errors, but then again so did I, so Okay, coming up on his turn, and I am gaining on him, meaning that I am a bit faster than he is, which is a good thing. And now he went with full-on sails and he's trying to get to the optimal sailing position. So I choose to follow suit and hopefully get parallel to him and fire up the broadside as fast as I can. Okay, he is coming within my shooting solution and fire. Let's see how this one plays out, and I am hitting his weaker side. So hull 13, cannon 1, crew 1, and immediately pressing hard to port and hoping to get another shot in. Full sails and probably cut him off a little bit. Let's see. And fire. Only a couple to the hull, but I'm immediately trying to weave and try now to keep myself at a lower angle. I'm thinking that he is sitting a little bit lower in the water. So his starboard side is gone. And I'm still trying to press hard to go for his stern, and at this point, fire. I'm also trying to get and kick his rudder, but no luck there. Hard to port. As you can see, I'm trying to stern camp him as much as possible, and he is, I think, I'm guessing that he probably is sinking and that his survival crews are at this moment working very hard to keep him afloat. I do expect that he will gain a loss of control of the ship at some point soon, within the next couple of minutes, because the survival crews will need more and more and they won't be able to keep up with the reloading the cannons and manning the sails. So that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. And I'm slowly but surely coming up towards his starboard side with my port side, which has a bit thicker armor, and I'm hoping to put another broadside in it. Now the more broadsides that I put in his starboard side, the more chance of me securing a victory and sinking him. So sort of like pressing him where it hurts. Hard to starboard, and he is coming within my shooting solution. Angling cannons downwards and fire. 9 to the hull, 12 to the hull, 1 to the cannon and 4 to the crew. Awesome. I'm thinking this will create enough ruckus so that I'm hoping that he will be sunk very soon. So far, it seems that the match seems pretty much decided unless I really do something very, very stupid. And he is sitting lower in the water, I can tell. So it's just a matter of pressing our advantage. And I'm trying just to keep fast enough to prevent him from boarding. Because at this point I really don't want him boarding, but I want to just hit him as hard as possible. So hard, I'm going a little bit to the port to get on his other side, and then I will be going hard to starboard to present my shooting broadside towards him. And depowering the sails to get the heel down, putting sector focus to his bow and fire. Hull 15, cannon 1, crew 2. At this point I think he is taking on water severely, so I'm thinking that my cousin will be soon joining Mr. Davy Jones. I think he'll save them a spot for tonight's game. Okay. One more reload, and I believe if we press one more broadside, this should bring this match to a quick resolution. So I think overall it was a heavy fight. He did quite a bit of mistakes. I did some as well, but in the end it could have gone either way. So well played, well fought, and maybe we will just repeat this once again with some other ships. So guys, it seems that we're coming up on the end of our episode. So I would like here to invite you to like if you like the episode, hit subscribe for more naval action content that will be coming soon, and yeah, let's bring this fight to its resolution. So let's see, hard to port, and see if he will need another encouragement in the form of broadside to sink. Maybe. He is... you got to admire his fighting spirit. He is still shooting. Well, let's see if we send him off with a bang. One final broadside. Okay. And... fire. Well, that brings our episode to a conclusion. Like if you like, hit subscribe for more naval action content that will be coming soon. And until the next fight, thank you very much guys for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off as soon as my cousin sinks, which is now. Thanks again, and bye.